I just want to do a quick video on a Multimatic versus MATICFomo comparison here. Been getting a few comments about which one of these is the best to get into and whatnot. And right now, out of all of the these things seem to be coming out pretty quickly. All these Matic staking dEPs, and these two are probably my favorite too. And so it's people have asked which one's the best, and it's hard to say which one is because they're both pretty good. Yeah, I've got some in both of these, and I just wanted to run through and get my thoughts. Do with it what you will. You might have a different opinion on this, but these are just my thoughts on these. Some are probably more concrete than others, but I just wanted to throw this out there. So let's talk about Multimatic, where it's at, its current status. Let's refresh here. I think it went up a little bit. Yeah, the contract balance continues to climb. It's now well over 500,000 Matic. It just lost a few days ago. The number of investors is climbing. Yeah, haven't seen any really big whales or anything jump in. I've seen some 10,000 Matic deposits, but nothing that's going to drain the balance in 28 days, especially if new investment continues to climb. Yeah, it's a pretty, out of all of them, I think it's one of the most simple dApps out there, because it's 3 options and withdraw. It's past what stable 1 was, where you just deposit and withdraw later. Outside of that, it's very simple. I love the snooze functionality. Over to MATICFomo, I think their interface is a little bit busy, but they've got a lot of information. They're doing airdrops, YouTube contests for promoters, things like that. Yeah, one thing I don't like about MATICFomo is they don't put the balance here. It's always just the total staked, and the balance is a far more important number to put in here. It's nice to see how much has been staked, but I want to see the balance. And to do that, you always have to go to the contract, and you can see the balance here. 2.7 million. So it's got a very healthy balance. It seems to continue to grow. One thing you need to know is, both of these are actually forks off of Matic Staker, but this one is probably more direct because it's got the same amount of plans. These ROIs go up. Yeah, everything's kind of, they've added a few things like the NFT boxes. I haven't seen what this does yet. So yeah, I mean, I like it because the returns are still reasonable and sustainable. So let's talk about these. Good old comparison. I kind of lumped the interface, ease of use into one category. For this one, I'm not a fan of. It's basically just a theme that they applied. I'm not too. It's very busy. There's a lot of options. I like to just be able to select from a few options, set it, and forget about it, and just kind of watch the balance. This one you have to kind of watch. Do I want these unlocked plans, or do I want one of these ones that are locked up? Yeah, and these ones that withdrawing every day is great because you can compound every day, but it also for people that are withdrawing and taking those profits every day, it does put a lot of downward pressure on that balance. So yeah, it's pretty busy, and there's just a lot of options. Multimatic, they just went for just a very clean 3 option approach. Everything's very clean and easy to do. I don't like the background, how it's kind of translucent, but it's just a very simple dApp. They are going to add more functionality to this. They've got some more things coming up on their roadmap, but for now, because that stuff isn't on the site yet. I'm going to give this one to Multimatic. Longevity, this is probably one of the hardest questions on here, because Multimatic just launched a few days ago. MATICFomo is almost 9 days old, but it's got a very healthy balance on there. But Multimatic is like, its balance continues to grow every day. It's averaging about 250, quarter million Matic per day. MATICFomo, I don't want to say that they're leveling off, but they are still moving up. This is one that's a little more established, and you just have to remember in these ROI dApps, being early is key. So longevity, I'm not sure, because in MATICFomo they do have these rates that go up, but if we look in their audit, one thing that's in their audit here, let's go down their rates. After the launch, the daily profit will increase 0.5% every day. Increased daily profit can be reset by the owner. So unlike MaticStaker, in MATICFomo, these can be reset. I'm not sure if they just hit a button and it resets them down to what they were at launch, or if they can custom set them. But they do continue to climb, and that could hurt the longevity. I think it's more important for these things to have consistent, stable returns versus having ginormous returns that are going to drain the balance quickly. So for longevity, you need to have those consistent, they're not tiny, but they're consistent returns. Those are the best things to have for longevity. Like I said, Multimatic, that's got this balance that continues to climb. Their investment terms are not crazy. They've got withdraw taxes that are pretty hefty, which goes back into the contract to make it last longer. But yeah, it's kind of a toss-up on this. I'm going to give it to both of them. They're both probably equal in the longevity category. Clean code, MATICFomo, I've looked through it, and this is only going to be based on the audit. MATICFomo never did the check for those 100 deposits. They don't have any crazy loops, but if you went and just tried to compound every few hours, you'd create so many deposits, and that would kind of break things. Multimatic actually has a better audit. Their code is cleaner. They're basically both forks of MaticStaker, but Multimatic is much cleaner and doesn't have those warnings and those possible problems. So we're gonna go there. Community is a tough one to judge. I guess it depends on what you're looking for in a community. MATICFomo actually hired an agency to run their Telegram group, and that same agency also runs the group for Matic Heaven and also Stable One. So you'll actually see the same mods across those groups, and they don't allow talk of any other projects except their own, and it's kind of very locked down. Multimatic is very organic. Their community is driven by the developers and the owner and the developers, and they do a really good job at helping people out. They're in there helping people if they have any wallet problems. It's not just a mod from an agency. So just be aware of that. Then they'll allow you to talk about other projects. They're confident in their project enough to not feel threatened about talking about another project or comparing it to something else. So because of that, I'm going to have to give the community to Multimatic. Profits. This is another one where it's probably probably a toss-up, because Multimatic has good returns. MATICFomo, theirs will continue to climb and can be reset, so it's not it's hard to really compare those two. You're going to get very returns either way you go. So I'm actually going to give that to both of them. So as you can see, longevity and profits are probably the most important things to look for, and they both have them. And that's why these are kind of my two favorite dApps out there right now. I really like Multimatic for the community and the interface and the code. But I mean, when it comes down to it, we're here to make an investment. It is nice to use something that's usable, but that longevity and the profits are the most important thing. So yeah, I mean, you can say Multimatic won because they've got pretty much everything here. But those most important things they both have. So to answer people's questions, which one wins, it's kind of a toss-up. I prefer Multimatic because of those smaller things, but they're both very good dApps, and I think they're both gonna be around for a bit. Of course, Multimatic is early, so that's one thing to consider. But MATICFomo is still a great option. So yeah, if you have any comments, you might disagree with this or whatever, you can feel free to leave those in the comments. I'm open to hear about your opinion on these. Just some housekeeping things. I am going to be upgrading my audio. I travel a bit. I'm considered what you'd consider a nomad. So I moved to a new location. The sound just isn't as good. I'm kind of surrounded by concrete walls. It's kind of tinny. It's like, it doesn't sound very good, but I'll be upgrading my system soon in the next few days. Another thing, just to throw some news out there, Stable 1, version 1, contract balance went to 0 today. I feel their team over there didn't give people a long enough off ramp to get out, especially the ones that invested later on, and I really think they could have really treated them better and helped them transition over to V2 a little easier. Even if they could have written something into the V2 contract that used a percentage of that contract and sent it to that wallet for a certain amount of time or something, just so they had some way to get out their returns and move over to V2. Anyway, those are just kind of the things that have been happening. Also, watch out for Matic Heaven. Their balance has been kind of dropping. I do hope it recovers because it is a pretty good dApp, but I just feel it just didn't get enough traction. I don't think it got the traction that it deserved, honestly. But who knows? I mean, people might just jump back in there. Anyway, I just want to leave that comparison video with you. Go ahead and leave any comments you have. And again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you should jump into either of these. But this is just kind of my opinion on these two. There is another Matic ROI dApp I'll be releasing a video for later today. And go ahead, and if you're not, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, get notified. I'm trying to provide as much up-to-date information on these dApps as possible. Anyway, we will catch you on the next one.